So good to be here with everyone on this really special day. And it's special because of beginnings. And this is the Shabbat Bereshit, the Shabbat of Beginnings. And it's one of the reasons I love being Jewish is that I get all of these new chances to recreate myself and to come new to life. And kind of leave some of the patterns of the past and open up in a way that is more deliberate and intentional and calling up, what the possibilities are right now. There's this idea in Zen Buddhism called beginner's mind. And beginner's mind, also called the Shoshin, is this idea that when you come to in beginner's mind, then there are so many more possibilities. But in an expert's mind, there's not that many possibilities. And so we really want to open up to possibilities. And the possibilities that we open to is really the quality of our presence that we bring to each moment of our lives. And that beginner's mind is a certain quality of openness and possibility, really, which is so essential to our wholeness, to our health. So there is this Torah reading of opening to creation, and then there's also a Haftorah, and for myself and my students, we have also taken on the custom of bringing Shir Shirim, the Song of Songs, every week. That there's also a parsha that invites us, that frames our experience, that sends us. And so Shabbat Bereshit is the corresponding Shir HaShirim reading is one that is about inviting the divine kiss, meeting reality, God, the cosmos, in a certain stance of being in relationship to the cosmos, to the mystery, with openness, with receptivity, with a sense of responsiveness and spacious, loving awareness and passionate engagement, a calm heart and trust. Really, Rachel Botsman says that trust is an active engagement with the unknown. And I love that. I want to come to each moment and be surprised. So what I'd like to do with you is to immerse in this practice of the Song of Songs and let it shape the quality of our presence as we sit. Because it's possible to sit in meditation and still be numb or shut down or kind of closed up, like a kind of a bud of a flower that's closed up. Or we can bring our attention to the quality of presence that is really the flowering of that innerness and aliveness. And that's kind of one of the goals of practice for me, is how alive can it bring, what kind of aliveness can it bring me to? What kind of passionate engagement can it bring me to? So Adi, if you'd like to share our text for today, which is the beginning of the Song of Songs. And the Song of Songs begins by entitling it a journey through love towards peace and wholeness. And then comes the request that says, oh, give me the kisses of your mouth. And this is really how we come to meditation, with the sense of like, give it to me, God. Oh, I am open to the blessing of this very moment. I am willing to rise to the challenge of this moment and call on this wholeness inside me to, lift myself up to a quality of presence that I called being puckered up, ready to engage. And a kiss is something that is not something, it's not passive. It is something that is an interchange between the beloved, meaning reality, God, and some place that is deep in me that wants to emerge. So this kiss invites us into our passionate presence. And so our practice is to release our passivity or despair and pucker up and engage with life. And receiving this kiss is not without its risks, because in every moment that kiss asks me to die to the past and open to the present and be born again in this present moment. And the question that I always ask on this time of Breshit, of the week of kisses, is, can I open to God's presence? Can I feel that kiss in the color of the sky, in this breath, in this step, in this very moment? So what I'd like to do is to chant these words as a way of entering in to that refined quality of presence that is so available for that engagement with life. So we'll chant it in a voice that is the most tender, the most longing, the most filled with the passionate eagerness to be alive and receive the divine presence. And that chant can shape the quality of presence that we bring to the silence. There is one of the commentaries by Michael Fishbane says that moment of meeting is a moment that silences speech. It's like when you are in the kiss, there's nothing left to say. All there is that passionate engagement, grateful for this moment. So I'll just say one more thing. As I was contemplating this kiss, I was reminded of a fairy tale that I learned a long time ago about a princess that kissed a frog, and that kiss became a kiss of transformation. And I started to look at the world as frog. It's like, oh, can I look at this world and see beyond the appearances of the world? See a glimpse of the royalty of the shining presence that shines out, that is covered up by the appearances and by my conditioning. And that kiss can awaken this process of transformation. And then I also realized that, the world is also kissing me. I'm the frog. I am waiting to be transformed. And I also need to be willing to give myself to that transformation. So it sort of just added to my sense of how powerful this kiss is. So let's chant in the quality of kisses, and then we can sit in the silence that has been shaped by that kiss. I think, Adi, if you move it up a little bit, we can also see the transliteration, or down, the transliteration there, in case, right, good. Min shikot pihu Shikot Pihu Shakeli Min Shikot Pihu Shakeli Min Shikot Pihu Shakeli Min Shikot Pihu. Let this be your love song to life. Shakeli Min Shikot Pihu 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 Shakeli Min Shikot Pihu. And as we move into the silence, bring your attention to the breath. Imagine breathing into the heart, and opening the flower in the heart, letting it unfurl its petals. And make a silent commitment to a quality that of presence that is engaged, alive, open to beauty, open to pleasure. With each breath, with each awareness, you can let it in and respond with your love. Shakeni min shikot pihu 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 Shakeni min shikot pihu. Sing it once more, and this time take whatever you found in the silence, bring it into the chant. Shakeni min shikot pihu Shakeni min shikot pihu Shakeni min shikot pihu Shakeni min shikot pihu.
Thank you so much, Shefa. Friends, let's take those kisses and those breaths and that heart into the practice, as we always do, of sealing our practice with Mourner's Kaddish. This is for everyone, whether you are reciting Kaddish as a mourner or observing a yard site, or if it's your custom, just stay present and being loving, supportive presence for those who are. And I invite those of you who are reciting Kaddish, if you'd like to share the name or names of those souls you're honoring today in the chat box, either now or after reciting Kaddish, and to join me and by rising in body or in spirit to recite the words. And thanks, Adi, for screen sharing those words. Yit Gadol, Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
Yama Divra,
Shirote, family, Mahute, Vayechon, Uvimechon, Udechayide, Kol Beit Israel, Ba'agala, Vizman, Kariv, Vimru, Amen.
Amen. Hey, Shmei Rabba Baruch Le'olam. Amen.
Amen, Amaya,
Yitbarach,
Yitbarak, Yishtabak, Yitbahar, Yitraman, Yitnase,
Yitadar,
Vitahar,
Vitala,
Vitale, Vitala, Shmeri Kucha, Briku,
Kol Bircha,
Leala, Miko, Bekirata, Vishurata,
Tushbechata,
Tu
Venechemata,
Shikata, Venekimata, Damirat Beama, Bimu, Amen.
Amen.
Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya,
Shlama, Rabba, Min
Chaim
Shemaya,
Aleinu V'Yakol
Achaim, Alenu,
Yisrael,
Velkol Israel,
Amen.
Bimru, Amen.
Hallelujah, Shalom.
Uyase Shalom,
Aleinu,
Alenu, Velkol Israel, Bimru,
Velkol
Amen.
Yoshvei Tevel.
Amen.
Imru. Amen.
Amen.
Friends, thank you so much, as always, for coming together to create this beautiful community of practice today. For those of you who are leaving, we want to wish you Shabbat Shalom. And for those who are able, you're welcome to stay on for a few minutes of conversation with Rabbi Shefa Gold about that beautiful teaching from Shir HaShirim. And we invite you to stay on for a few minutes for that, and to bring that practice into the rest of your day, and in fact into this Shabbat Breshit. I want to thank Renee Barno for sponsoring our practice today in honor of light. What a beautiful dedication today, Renee. Thank you so much for supporting our practice and bringing our awareness to the light in and around us and connecting us. And of course, as always, thanks to Adi Stein for holding our tech space with grace and skill. And just a reminder that next week we will be having a full week of practice. Very excited about that, Monday through Friday at our normal time, 12:30 Eastern. And as well, and I'm putting in the chat box, those who will be leading the sit next week. We have a wonderful lineup: Cantor Ellen Dreskin, Sabrina Sojourner, Rabbi Robin Damsky, Rebecca Schisler, and Cantor Heather Batchel will lead us in practice. And of course, yoga on Monday with Lizzie Shamash, and Torah study with Aaron Leap-Smokler on Thursday. So we hope you'll join us for any or all of those sessions. And please do spread the word. So for those who are leaving us, sweet Shabbat. May it be full of passionate kisses and breaths. And we hope to see you back next week on Monday. And if you have a question for Shefa that you'd like to put in the chat box, I'll keep an eye out for that. And Judy, thanks for that. It was actually the question I was going to invite Shefa. I know, just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit more about your Love at the Center project, which centers the Song of Songs, Shir HaShirim, as you did today, as a central text for each week's practice. So Judy has a question about how Shir HaShirim is related to Bereshit. And so that's all teed up for you. Go for it.
Okay. Well, first of all, everything is related to everything. That's kind of how I live my life. But a little over a year ago, I had a kind of a revelation, where I sensed that, I remember that Rabbi Akiva said that the Song of Songs, which is a central text for mystics, that it needed to become central for everyone, for the world. That if we were to put love at the center, we needed to take our love story and put it at the center of our attention. And just so like we read the Torah every week, we also needed to read a section of Shir HaShirim. And the important thing that Rabbi Akiva said is that had the Torah not been given, we could live our lives by the Song of Songs. And I was just so incredibly intrigued about what that might mean. And I wanted to hold that question to in relationship to a sacred text, not just what does it mean or what do other people say about it, but how do I live this day to day, moment to moment? And so I took the Song of Songs, divided up into 52 different little sections, and for a year we have been, diving in and asking that question: how do I live by this? And I and many of my students have just found ourselves transformed by that challenge.
It's beautiful. Let me ask you a question though. Do you ever, in this case, look for like a particular link thematically with that verse and the weekly Torah portion? Because I saw one that I'm going to raise, but I'm curious.
I would love. I think that's going to be next. It's an ongoing project.
Yeah, it's such a great project. So, Adi, if you can screen share again at some point the text that we were chanting, the pucker up, the invitation to pucker up, is just so great. So you drew it from there. So if you can go down, Adi, sorry. Yeah. So I just think this is gorgeous and worth, spending a little bit more time with. That this is an invitation, right? It's really my experience it as basically a prayer practice here, right? Inviting God, reality, however people want to understand it, to an intimate, direct encounter, right? Unfiltered. The kiss invites us into our passion and release all passivity, pucker up and engage with life. To receive the divine kiss is to die to this moment and be reborn in love.
And I want to just say that when I wrote that line, it was informed by by what we had just read in Deuteronomy of Moses dying, and all
Right.
the midrashim about how Moses died, was that the angel of death came and came and came, and he couldn't die, and the only way he could die was by the divine kiss. And so it brought a kind of sobriety to this ecstatic moment, to say, oh, when I open to the divine kiss, I'm also risking, dying in this moment to everything that I've been, all of my conceptions, also need to die in order to open and to receive this kiss. So it just sort of upped the ante for me in terms of what this kiss meant.
So the little connection I made with Parshat Breshit was in chapter 2, which is the second story of creation of humankind. That's the part where God animates humankind by breathing into the nostrils, the breath of life, which has a kind of kiss-like quality, right? Of receiving this divine kiss of, where we're inhaling God, as it were, and becoming a living. I think. Let me see what the phrase is. Vayipach ba'apav nishmat chayim, vayhi hadam lenefesh chaya. We became a living soul. We became ensouled by that kiss, which of course is the same language used in relation to Shabbat, of vayinafash, of our souls. It's a day for passionate. Shabbat itself is a day for just making out all day, making out all day, right?
Well, and there's a mutuality there. It's not just It's not just receiving it. We also have to give it, and to be able to be in relationship to the world, find our own generosity in each moment.
Yeah. Adi, you can take it down. Thank you so much. There's a question from Lori. Oh, Lori has excellent questions always. Rabbi Art Green said in his lecture that things changed for him when he fell in love with God and felt God fall in love with him. How does daily life change when embraced in passionate, focused kiss with the mystery in each moment? How does life change, Shefa?
I think there's a heightening of awareness, and there's a sanctification of pleasure and of beauty, and there is a kind of a sense of agency of like, oh, whatever is happening, I can respond with gratefulness, with love, whatever it is, and it's not a static thing. I'm stepping onto a path, and the path of love is the most rigorous path there is, because every time I meet an obstacle on that path, then I'm sent to do the work of my healing, because mostly it's trauma that shuts me down, and that needs my attention, and my daily attention, to see, when I'm chanting, I always ask this question of, like, I look inside me, I say, who's not chanting? There's always some place inside that is hiding away, that that is keeping me from my wholeness, and that part of me needs my loving, compassionate attention. And then I'm set, on a path of healing, of reconnecting something, and of finding places of numbness in me that need to be enlivened, even when it's uncomfortable. So it's not all, it's not an easy path at all, but to me, it's the most exciting way of approaching my spiritual life.
Yeah, two things. One, I just want to freeze frame what you said as a practice, suggestion that you just said, that I thought is very powerful. Like that question, what part of me is not chanting right now? Who's not chanting in that inner choir, right? And that's, I thought, really remarkable question about how do we meet that part of ourselves, which you then, added with, to meet that part with a lot of love and compassion, just to connect it with our practice yesterday. I led the practice, and we were dealing with Ayeka and Hineni, really the question was, what's the tenor or tone of the voice ayeka? Can we hear that as a loving yearning, in this case, like the lover who's seeking the partner, as opposed to the accusatory, harsh, where are you, what's the matter with you, why you're hiding, get over here. But of that invitation of, I miss you, I need you, I yearn for you. That's a real difference. So that's one thing. Just wanted to underline that. And then the other thing, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say that that's the, when I called this song a journey through love towards peace and wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm journeying towards my wholeness by inviting in all of those parts that sort of fell away in trauma, and they're absolutely necessary. And it's true of this whole body that we are together, that every single one of us is also absolutely essential to the wholeness that we are.
So the other question I wanted to ask you about this is that is about laughter and delight, because there's something about the I don't know, love, laughter, delight, ecstasy, which is a lightening and a freeing up of constriction, that sort of lets joy into the picture, which is another part of it. It's like, this does not, it occurred to me, that question about like, how do things change? It's like, to me, it feels like life is a lot more fun, a lot more joyful. And just to throw in this, because I see Marion Ross is here, and I don't know if she was here before, but I mentioned before we started, Marion sent me a calendar at the beginning of the year with Rumi's Guest House poem, with a line on each card with each month. And since it's October, the line this month is meet them, that is, meet everything that shows up the front door laughing, and invite them in. And that's what jogged me into thinking laughter is part of this too.
And tears are part of this too. It's like, it's the aliveness is what's important. And so, and sometimes that aliveness will bring me more tears, and as well as laughter. They're kind of a package deal in that way. It's like I can't, I have to, to really be true to what my grief is, as well as my joy, or else it can't, unless, or else the aliveness will shut down. So I want to greet whoever is at the door.
Right. We could laugh. We could also cry at who's at the door, yes, but we still keep the door open.
But I do notice that the way that the song has transformed me is that it's opened me to beauty that I might have missed. And
are you writing a chant for each of these?
Or yes. There's a chant for each week.
Yeah, right.
It drives my students crazy because they have to learn something new every week. But but and I gave myself that challenge, really. And for me, the chant is a way of taking the text, taking it out of my head, and embodying it, and bringing me the possibility of living it.
Yeah.
And so,
it's pretty holy work there, Shefa. That's really an incredible gift, and I'm glad you had that awareness of the need to center Shir HaShirim as a Jewish text. First of all, a lot of people have no idea, right? Have no idea, and you have done so much to elevate that and people's awareness of it.
Yeah, I want it to be a central text, to say, oh, what's the parsha? Oh, yes,
Shir HaShirim.
It's the week of kisses.
Yeah, especially when we get to Vayikra, to Leviticus, that really is especially appealing. But but always. So that just gives everyone here more opportunities to learn, whether you're working on the weekly, traditional Torah portion, or the weekly Shir HaShirim Parsha through Shefa, and to look for that interconnection. And maybe also, Shefa, that's an opportunity for people to infuse, to take the loving message and practice from Shir HaShirim and infuse that, or learn Torah, the Chumash, the 5 books, through that lens of love, and it really can look quite different when people do that. That's another thing, right?
and to the Torah of our lives, of how do we bring love to every moment, to eat, to whatever we're doing. And that's to me the great challenge. And I received that question, and they're all questions, that it's not a commandment in the way of like, this is what you should do. It's more like, oh, is this possible? Is it possible to bring love to everything that I do? And I just want to hold the question, because that's what transforms me, is just the holding of the question.
Thanks. I just want to put, just so we can close. And I also, I saw that you noted the death of Cantor Richard Kaplan, who I know has been a real giant and as a spiritual leader and musician, composer, and teacher. And so I just want to offer condolences to you and to, the community is mourning him, and note that people may not be aware of him, but I know he's had tremendous influence. And it's a big loss for Yisrael here. Okay, I'm putting the link.
Just brought all the music from all over the Jewish worlds and brought them to us, and in a way connected us with a much larger sense of how to sing Jewish.
Yeah, Allah Shalom. Okay, so I put, for those who may have missed it, I put the link to Shafa's Love at the Center, so you can sign up and engage with that practice. And just a reminder that in December, Shefa will be leading that month-long prayer practice module in sacred chanting. If this is something that really speaks to you and you're drawn to, please consider joining us in December for that. Okay, thanks, Adi. Thank you, Shefa. As always, to everyone, a sweet Shabbat, and we'll see you on Monday. Be well, everyone. Many blessings.